You know, we all hear about the promise of solar energy. Clean power, lower electric bills, all generated right from your own roof. But for so many American homeowners, when you actually look into it, that promise hits a huge roadblock. The sticker shock is real.
So what's going on here? It's a real paradox. Why does going solar in the US cost so much more than in other developed countries? Well, we're going to dig in and investigate what's really bloating that price tag.
And when you look at the numbers, the difference is just wow. This data from a recent Tesla white paper lays it all out. In the US, the average cost for a solar and storage system is just over $5 a watt. Now compare that to a place like Australia, where the equipment and labor costs are pretty similar. They're paying just $2.63. That's almost twice as much here.
So where is all that extra money going? It's not the actual solar panels, it's not the batteries. Well, it turns out the real culprit is a whole collection of things called soft costs. Think of these as all the administrative headaches and red tape that pile up and add to the final bill.
When you really break it down, the research points to a few key areas. You've got about 57 cents per watt just from the cost of finding new customers and the labor involved. And then there's another 54 cents per watt that gets burned up in all the regulatory and approval processes. These are the hidden inefficiencies that homeowners end up paying for.
Okay, let's put a name to this problem, because it's a big one. Regulatory friction. And it's not just one single thing. It's more like death by a thousand cuts. It's the result of having literally thousands of different local rules, permitting processes, and inspection standards all across the country. And every single little difference adds time, adds complexity, and, yep, adds cost.
You know, this can sound a little abstract, so let's look at a perfect real-world example to see what this actually means in practice. It's all about something called vent spanning.
Okay, this image just says it all, doesn't it? Look at the left. That's a roof in a town where you're not allowed to put solar panels over plumbing vents. The result? A messy, inefficient layout with 3 separate little arrays, which means more hardware, more wiring, and more labor. Now, look at the right. Where vent spanning is allowed, you get one big, clean, efficient array. It's cheaper to install and it generates more power. And get this, that one simple, restrictive rule is in place in over 3/4 of local jurisdictions. It forces a more expensive, less effective system on the homeowner.
All right, so beyond all these system-wide issues, there's another huge decision you have to make: how you're actually going to pay for it all. And believe me, this choice can have massive consequences down the road, especially if you ever decide to sell your house.
So when you don't buy the system outright, you're usually looking at 2 main options: a lease or something called a power purchase agreement, a PPA. A lease is pretty straightforward. You just pay a flat fee every month, like renting a car. A PPA is a little different. You pay for the actual power the system generates at a set rate. So your bill will be higher in those sunny summer months and lower in the winter.
And this is probably one of the most important things to understand. All the market analysis shows that only systems you actually own reliably add resale value to your home. Think about it. With a lease or a PPA, you don't own the equipment. And if you sell your house, the new buyer has to agree to take over that contract, which can be a real headache. But a system you own? That's a clear asset, a home improvement, just like a new kitchen.
Okay, so let's get down to brass tacks. Let's talk money. What's the actual financial payoff here? How long does it take to break even, and what kind of impact does it have on your home's value right away?
So the payback period, that's just how long it takes for your savings on your electric bill to equal the cost of the system. Well, it really depends on where you live. If you're in California, where electricity is super expensive, you might break even in just 5 to 7 years. In other states, it could be closer to 10 or 11 years. But forget the payback period for a second. Check this out. This is the number that can completely change the game. A big study found that an owned solar system can boost your home's value by a ton. We're talking anywhere from $40,000 to $80,000. That's an immediate jump in your home equity, and in many cases, it's more than what the system cost in the first place.
Okay, so that's a lot of information, right? It can feel a little overwhelming. But how do you actually use it to make a smart decision? Well, it really just comes down to a simple 3-step framework.
Step 1, and this is non-negotiable: get your data. Pull out your last 12 months of electricity bills. You need to know exactly how much power you use. Step 2, ask the right questions. Really dig in and vet your installers. Are they licensed? What do their warranties cover? Don't be shy. And finally, step 3, compare your options. Get multiple quotes. and have them show you the financial breakdown for buying versus leasing versus a PPA, so you can see what makes the most sense for you.
So here's the bottom line. The technology is there. We know how to do affordable solar because, well, other countries are already doing it. The biggest barrier holding us back isn't a technical one, it's a regulatory one. The question is no longer, can we do it, but who's going to step up and finally rewrite these rules to make it happen?